Green Biofuels Advanced GD Plus fuel made from waste-derived cooking oils and fats, supercharged with engine-enhancing additive. So greener fuels being used by the British Truck Racing Championship this year, which is great to see. So they're off and rolling then. Looks like we got us a convoy here at Brands Hatch. A convoy of what should have been 19 trucks. Paul Rivett, sadly a non-starter. Tom O'Rourke will start from the pit lane. Ryan Smith in that aggressive-looking number 1, the Daimler Freightliner, run by Worldwide Truck Racing. Check them out on social media for more updates. Oh yes, I'm looking forward to this. Will Ryan Smith kick off his title defence with a victory? Be a new name on top in Division 2 this year. It was Luke Garrett who took the Division 2 title last year, but not on the grid this season. I think he's planning to race in Europe as well. Looking back from Stuart Oliver as they head along the Cooper Straight, the pace truck leading them round, ready to unleash these 19, well, it should have been 19, there are a couple missing, these 5-ton, 1,000 horsepower beasts. Biggest machines in British motorsports. Ready to rumble here at Brands Hatch, a brand new season for the British Truck Racing Championship. There's Jim Bennett in the classic Seddon Atkinson Strata at the back. Great to have the truck racing veteran back after a couple of years away. Here we go then. Pace truck is in pit lane. Ryan Smith and Dave Jenkins, the arch rivals, lead them up towards the red lights. It's time to go truck racing in 2023. Wait for the power to come on. The pack is unleashed and here we go, down towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Ryan Smith takes the lead from the inside line ahead of David Jenkins. Now are they all going to get round Paddock Bend okay for the first time? John Bowler running up wide on the outside line. Looks like they've all made it round the Division 1 trucks. It's flying Ryan Smith who leads up towards Druids Hill Bend for the first time. We go on board with Jock Borthwick in the 32. He's swinging away through and he's been hit. Jock Borthwick's tangled up with Stephen Powell. They go off. Oh, Michael Oliver's caught up as well. Bradley Smith's gone off too. Well, 4 trucks involved there. Borthwick's getting going again. And well, it's certainly first day back at school, isn't it? 4 trucks off at Druids. Let's hope they can continue. Ryan Smith leads from David Jenkins. Stuart Oliver third. There's a hole been created in the field there already. The first 4 left clear as a result of that tangle. The Reed brothers in 4th and 5th. There's mayhem at Druids, and not surprisingly, the red flag is coming out. Well, Bradley Smith's truck stranded there. Looks like the left front suspension may be broken. A lot of contact there in the Druids. There's bits of bodywork everywhere. Look at the state of Jock Borthwick's truck, and that's just the first half lap of the season. A baptism of fire for him in Division 1. On board with the 32 truck as he makes his way. He's going to have to come into the pits to get that checked. A crack in the windscreen as well. No, he's not going into the pits. He is heading up to the grid. So the trucks will be reassembled on the grid. The marshals will then go to work up at Druids Hill Bend, and it'll be the first job of the weekend for trackside recovery. They manage all the car and truck recoveries here at Brands Hatch with their fleet of vehicles. We'll see how a race truck is recovered after an incident here. Let's take another look and see what happened there. They charged their way up to Druids for the first time. Watch the 32 and the 3. Stephen Powell just charged kamikaze up the inside there and sent everyone else skittling, I think is what happened. Dear oh dear. 4 of them off. And luckily everybody else was able to get through on the inside. Bradley Smith there, looks like his steering was broken. He went into the gravel. Well, that was just an over-optimistic move, I would say, there from Stephen Powell. Just charged up the inside, clipped Jock Borthwick first of all, sent him spinning around. He went into Bradley Smith, and then they charged into Michael Oliver and sent him into the gravel. Borthwick was able to get going again, so were Powell and Oliver eventually. Bradley Smith's truck stuck there and debris everywhere. On board with Jock Borthwick. He was tapped once on the way towards Druids, and then again. I wonder if Stephen Powell had a brake problem there, because he just didn't seem to slow at first at all there. And then just went straight on. Jock Borthwick quickly on the throttle and away. And now they've got to clear the wreckage. Told incident involving trucks 312 and 46 will be investigated after the race. They're ready for a restart over 12 minutes. The pace truck leads them round. Let's try again with the season opener for the British Truck Racing Championship. 4 of the Division 2 trucks back out there. There's Adam Bintz, very smart looking DAF of number 6, John Powell alongside. Craig Evans and Jim Bennett behind. Shame we haven't got Paul Rivette out there. Hopefully he can fix his gearbox issues. He'll be back out later in the weekend. Ricky Collett at the back of Division 1. Division 1, the more powerful, more modified machines. So no Michael Oliver on the grid. Jock Borthwick has headed back into pit lane. We'll wait to see if they do join in from the pit lane. Bradley Smith is there. Ryan Smith, no relation, and David Jenkins on the front row. Here we go then, let's try again. There's Craig Evans, number 10. Repaired his truck overnight after he blew his gearbox in testing yesterday. Ready for a restart. The pace truck is in pit lane. Ryan Smith and David Jenkins ready to lead them off once again. Waiting for the red lights to go out. And we're back underway. Super start by Ryan Smith. David Jenkins moves across to protect second place, but Ryan Smith's away and gone already. He's about 3 truck lengths clear as they head into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Side by side between Simon Reed and Stuart Oliver for third. Bradley Smith round the outside into 5th position as they thunder their way up towards Druids. Let's hope they all get round this time. Stephen Powell positioning himself on the inside once again, but he's got it slowed up this time, just ahead of John Bowler on his Division 1 debut. They're all round Druids okay for the first time. Adam Bint leads Division 2, down into Graham Hill Bend for the first time. Division 2 staying with Division 1 for the moment. Simon Cole just ahead of Adam Bint there. Bint leads Division 2 in the Volvo White, the older Volvo than Stuart Oliver's example. As they come round towards Clearways for the first time, and Stephen Powell's off again. There is something wrong with that truck. Whether it's steering or brakes, I'm not sure, but again, it just didn't turn there going into Surtees. Luckily, he didn't collect anybody that time. I think that's going to be end of race for Stephen Powell. At least he hasn't got far to go to get spares, based on the same road as Brands Hatch outside the circuit. Over the line they go. Simon Cole might be in trouble here as well. He's dropped back behind some of the Division 2 runners there. There's Tom O'Rourke as well. He's up to speed once again. So it is Ryan Smith who leads from Jenkins, Simon Reed, Stuart Oliver, Bradley Smith, John Bowler. Then it's Craig Reed in 7th place. Simon Faulkner going well, learning all the time. His 2nd full season of truck racing. Tom O'Rourke's got past Simon Cole in the number 41. No Michael Oliver out there or Jock Borthwick. Damage from the incident at the start of the race. There is O'Rourke coming through. He's eager to make up for lost time after losing his pole position. Charge their way along the Cooper Straights up to the completion of their 2nd lap. Ryan Smith, will see what lap time he sets this time through. 58.103. Fantastic lap for Ryan Smith. He's already nearly 2 seconds clear of David Jenkins at the front of the field, with Simon Reed in 3rd. There's Ricky Collett over the line in 9th place, chasing Simon Faulkner, who's running well in the Iveco, chasing Craig Reed. Adam Bint behind them rounds out the top 10 overall, and he leads Division 2, looking for his first title since 2016 in that Volvo. John Powell second in Division 2. He could have to cede to the quicker Division 1 truck of Tom O'Rourke. There's a battle developing between Faulkner and the very experienced Ricky Collett. Down into Graham Hill Bend. Ricky Collett, it's his heavy haulage company based up in Halifax, hauling some of the biggest loads seen on lorries in the UK. There's Adam Bint behind them. O'Rourke's got ahead of John Powell now, trying to catch his fellow Division 1 runners. Ryan Smith continues to extend his lead. 2 seconds clear now of David Jenkins. Simon Reed in third. Stuart Oliver, the 10 times champion, is fourth. Bradley Smith, none the worse for that tangle on the first start, is rounding out the top 5. Craig Reed, John Bowler, sorry, in 6th place ahead of Craig Reed. Ricky Collett has a look there at Paddock Hill Bend on that newly liveried number 92 truck, and it's very dark grey livery. Brilliant looking truck that is. Collett has another look at Druids. I don't think he'll get through there. They're fairly well strung out other than this battle in this first race of the season for the British Truck Racing Championship. O'Rourke made up 2 places on that lap past the Division 2 runners. Not surprisingly, Stephen Powell has pulled into the pits. So there's 15 trucks running now. Out of the 18 that took the start, the 19 that are here. John Bowler runs a little bit wide there coming through Clearways, chased by Craig Reed, the man from Stoke. The Reed brothers took 5 race wins between them last season. Simon took 4. Craig, in the season finale here at Brands Hatch, got his maiden Division 1 win, former Division 2 champion 2 years ago. With a couple of tenths pulled out by Ryan Smith at the front of the field, he continues to lead. Already well into this restart. 7.5 minutes to go. Lead group is well strung out. We concentrate on this battle between Faulkner and Collett. These two are closest at the moment. Craig Reed has been given the black and white driving standards flag for exceeding track limits. Any further breaches and he could get a penalty. Simon Faulkner bounces over the curb in the Iveco Stralis, one of 3 Ivecos on the grid. Over the line they go. The lead gap is now up to 3 seconds. Ryan Smith pulled away by nearly a full second that time around. Tom O'Rourke's got ahead of our Division 2 leader. There is the Oxfordshire driver, number 5, Adam Bint, in the Volvo white Aerodyne. Should be a Volvo black really in that livery, shouldn't it? That was the first truck to use the new HVO fuel, as Ricky Collett finally gets past Simon Faulkner. Been trying that for about 5 laps. And moves up into 8th position. Now down to the business of trying to catch Craig Reed ahead of them. They're a couple of seconds back on the Iveco. There it is, chasing John Bowler. Good smooth run on his Division 1 debut. He's looking to get some points on the board. It's 15 points for a win, 14 for second, down to 1 point for 15th place. Bonus point for pole position and for the fastest lap. Fastest lap of Division 1 currently with Ryan Smith. There he is, starting his title defence perfectly, as he always does here at Brands Hatch. He's nearly 4 seconds clear of David Jenkins now. No stopping the Daimler Freightliner, sponsored by Northside Truck and Van Limited, run by Worldwide Truck Racing. I know Ryan would dearly love to go and compete in the European Championship Sunday, budget permitting. But first, he wants to match Stuart Oliver's record of 10 British Championships. David Jenkins in second, champion back in 2011. Simon Reed, could we see him on top in Division 1 in years to come? Stuart Oliver giving chase. He's been there, seen it, done it and won it in truck racing. He was European champion a few years ago as well. There's a gap back to Bradley Smith, the youngest man in the race, just 23 years of age. He first competed in a truck race before he was old enough to have an HGV licence. It's only an ARDS licence, Association of Racing Driver Schools licence, that you need to race trucks. Just over 4.5 minutes of this first truck race of the season to go, the first of 5 this weekend. A couple more black and white flags going out. Number 10, Craig Evans, and number 89, Simon Reed. Just a warning for exceeding track limits. Things having settled down on this restart after that incident first time out. Adam Bint continues to lead Division 2. He's the favourite for the title this year, along with Paul Rivette if he gets his truck up and running. And 4 wins, Adam Bint, last year. It's the battle for second. John Powell in the number 6, the DAF LF. 6 wins last season, was only 4th in the points in Division 2. Craig Evans behind has yet to win a race. He's had a few podiums though, a consistent driver more than rapid. Made his debut in 2019. There's a battle further back. Ricky Collett has got ahead of John Bowler. Chasing now Craig Reed. It's the fight for 6th position. So Ricky Collett has closed up. Bowler's dropped a couple of spots there. The number 14, he's sideways coming off Graham Hill Bend. I thought he was going to spin it there. Just getting used to the power of his new number 14 MAN. Simon Faulkner in behind him. 3 minutes to go. Ryan Smith leads by over 4.5 seconds now. Looking set to take his now traditional opening race victory here at Brands Hatch. Second fastest times from qualifying for each driver will decide the grid for race 2 later on, and then we get into the reverse grids for the rest of the weekend, where the top 8 in each division get reversed on the grid based on results of previous races. We'll do the top 8 in Division 1 and all 4 or 5 in Division 2. Battle to 6th continues, headed by Craig Reed. And Craig, I've just been informed, Craig Reed has been given a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. He was given the warning earlier on. So Craig Reed will get a 5-second penalty added to his race time for exceeding track limits. Simon Cole has just got the black and white flag as well. So the officials being pretty hot on track limit breaches. Well, there's our leader. Ryan Smith leads by 5.2 seconds. David Jenkins is 2.5 seconds clear of Simon Reed. The leader coming up to lap Simon Cole in the number 41. Jim Bennett, I think, has already been lapped in his Seddon Atkinson. Seddon Atkinson, quite a classic name in British trucks. Used to be based up in Lancashire. I believe they were taken over by Iveco several years ago. Simon Cole has been lapped. There's just over a minute left on the clock, so we might get 2 more laps out of this. Such is the pace being set by Fly-In Ryan. What's the gap going to be this time? It was 5.2, it's now 5.6 seconds. So another 0.4 of a second stretch clear. Simon Reed another 2.5 seconds back in 3rd in Division 1. Adam Bint continues to set the pace in Division 2. He's 3 seconds clear of John Powell. There's Craig Evans behind Powell in 3rd in Division 2. Ricky Collett still ahead of John Bowler. Craig Reed still ahead of them, and he's got that penalty, which will be added on. There's Jim Bennett being lapped in the Seddon Atkinson. It's good to have Gentleman Jim back in the championship. Been away for a few years. He's rebuilt the Seddon Atkinson for this year. Tom O'Rourke behind there. Tom's up to 10th place, the last of the Division 1 runners, with the exception of Simon Cole, who's just getting dialed in after only a one-off appearance last year. As across the line goes Ryan Smith, some 14 seconds left on the clock as he comes up to the line to start his final lap. Over 6 seconds clear now of David Jenkins. It's been pretty much a stroll in the park here at Brands Hatch. The first race of this new Daimler Freightliner. It has worked absolutely perfectly for Ryan, the man from Nottinghamshire, in the worldwide truck racing Daimler. Through Graham Hill Bend for the last time. Simon Faulkner, I can tell you, may have got ahead of John Bowler further back, but John Bowler having issues with his transponder. No, he is still 8th. And here comes Flying Ryan into clear ways for the final time. A perfect start to the defence of his British truck racing title. Is it going to be 8 in a row? Well, if his luck keeps up like this and his speed keeps up, it's certainly very likely. Ryan Smith opens the season with a victory. Second place will go to David Jenkins. The gap 6.233 seconds at the line. Third place for Simon Reed. And Stuart Oliver a lonely 4th. An equally lonely 5th is going to go to Bradley Smith, none the worse for that spill on the opening lap. And then 6th place across the line will be Craig Reed, but wait to see where that penalty places him. Over the line goes Craig Reed. I don't think he's got 5 seconds clear of those behind him, so 6th will go to Ricky Collett. John Bowler on his Division 1 debut 7th. Craig Reed ends up 8th. Simon Faulkner is 9th, and Tom O'Rourke will round out the top 10, having started from the pit lane. In Division 2, meanwhile, the win goes to Adam Bint in the Volvo White Aerodyne in 11th overall. John Powell holds off Craig Evans for 2nd. And a lap down, Simon Cole will finish 14th, and Jim Bennett, the final finisher, in 15th. Congratulations to Flying Ryan Smith. A dominant display to kick off his 2023 season. Bad luck to those who suffered damage in that race, but the result confirmed Ryan Smith the winner by 6.23 seconds over David Jenkins, with Simon Reed over 3 seconds back in 3rd place. Stuart Oliver and Bradley Smith racing pretty much on their own towards the end of that one in 4th and 5th. And then a long gap back to Ricky Collett in 6th position. John Bowler a good 7th. Craig Reed a 5-second penalty dropping him to 8th. And Simon Faulkner and Tom O'Rourke rounding out the top 10. Adam Bint wins Division 2 in 11th overall. He finished some 3 seconds ahead of John Powell. Craig Evans 3rd in that division, ahead of the Division 1 truck of Simon Cole in 14th. Jim Bennett the final finisher in 15th in the Seddon Atkinson. Stephen Powell pulled into the pits with problems after that shunt. And of course, Michael Oliver and Jock Borthwick didn't take the restart. Well, a lively opener then for the British Truck Racing Championship for 2023. Look back at some highlights of that first race. Well, the main talking point was on the opening lap when Stephen Powell went straight on at Druids and claimed 3 other trucks as a result. Jock Borthwick, Michael Oliver and Bradley Smith. They would eventually all drop out. Stephen Powell would take the restart, but it wouldn't last long for him. Borthwick and Michael Oliver's races were done for good. Seeing it from Jock Borthwick's point of view, wallop, straight round and straight into the gravel trap. So a fairly chaotic opening lap. That led to the red flags coming out. Restart didn't last long for Stephen Powell. His truck went straight on at Surtees over the grass, and that was the end of his race. And from there on, it was a dominant display by Ryan Smith. The main battle in the early stages was between Ricky Collett, John Bowler and Simon Faulkner further back in the order. They later caught up with Craig Reed. See them lapping Jim Bennett there, but Ryan Smith was away and gone out in front for his usual dominant season opening victory. Over 6 seconds clear at flag 4 of his rival David Jenkins.